what's up everybody? My name is Onepeg. So this video is going to be the VOD of the interview that I did with Terry Park and SDF, who were kind enough to sit down with me and have a conversation about this large content patch they are releasing in the next couple of days. Now, the entire discussion kind of took around about an hour and 15 minutes. So this is going to be that raw, unedited version, all right? For those of you that are looking for a summary, I'm going to go get a little bit of sleep, and tomorrow morning I will have that summary all prepped and ready for you all. Okay, so without further ado, here is the interview. So, hi guys, good to have you. Thanks for the short notice, because we decided to do this like, I don't even know, when did we decide to do this? It's like 12 hours ago, yesterday, something like that.
Yeah, pretty much last night. Yeah.
Yeah, it was kind of last second here. So there is, just so that everybody's on the same page, all right, ground rule kind of thing. First and foremost, I sometimes cut Terry off to keep things going, because Terry himself has admitted that he tends to be a little long-winded and he rambles. So if you see me cut him off, it's because he's telling me to. We've done this a lot of times. Sometimes I get comments that are like, let him speak, and like he tells me to stop him. So just so that we're all on the same page. This conversation is not going to be about game balance or game mechanics or what is changing with any of like the potential changes that could be coming in the future regarding those things. This chat is about content additions for the game. We will also not be discussing anything regarding Iron Mace's legal dispute or anything regarding Steam and that kind of stuff, because that's an ongoing case being litigated in court. Okay, just so that everybody again is on the same page. We are here to discuss the next major content patch, which is patch number 3, early access content patch number 3. Which is coming very soon. Do you want to let everybody know when they can expect to see the next patch?
All right. So on the so our goal is we're planning to do it by the end of January. So that doesn't leave much time left. So we're doing a lot of internal tests right now. It's looking a little shaky, but we're gonna be working probably overnight to try to hit that goal.
So we're looking at a day, maybe 2, and that's the goal. Okay.
Yeah, that's the goal. But so just to temper your expectation though, because so for us as internally, this is a date that we want to try to meet. But to meet this is that I want to temper your expectations that we're going to work on getting all the content out, but it's not going to be very there's a good chance that it's not going to be as polished as the level that we usually want it to be. So there's going to be a lot of rough edges. So we're just asking this time, hey, please understand. And I think we've always had the best results when we polish out those rough edges with feedback from the community. So this time it might be a little bit rougher than usual, but we're going to try pushing it out to meet that kind of deadline that we set internally.
Yeah, and I'm very sorry about that. There's no Druid this time. Sorry.
Yeah, and so that's another, I guess, leak is that this time we weren't able to get the Druid ready in time. I think we'll be able to go into a little bit more about that in this talk, but yeah, so that's another part that's a little disappointing.
Yeah, so no Druid in this patch, but we do have some other things.
Yes.
So first up, we have the stuff that we have that that everybody's been talking about, aside from the Druid and things that you have teased, has been the Ice Cavern map, the marketplace, and then you had mentioned in a prior cast the Warlock demon form. And are those going to be in this patch then?
Yep. So you hit basically our 3 major points that we're trying to focus on for this week's patch. Is, like you said, the first part of the Ice Cavern or the ice world. We made a name now, so
Frost Mountain.
Yeah. So it's called the Frost Mountain. So it's the first. So as you know, that we have like the right now we're experimenting with the multi-layer maps. So it has the 3 tiers,
right?
3 levels. So we're going to be introducing the middle layer this time of the Frost Mountain. So we call it the Ice Caverns. So that's going to be the big kind of, again, there's going to be a lot of rough patches, but we're going to polish it out with the community That's the big thing. The second big thing we're going to be throwing out this time is the marketplace. Internally, again, we call it version 0.1. So it's we're just throwing out the functionality first. The quality of life stuff is we're going to start working on it. We just want to make sure people can start selling things, right? And then you guys are going to give us feedback. We know that there's severe limitations with the first implementation, but it was important for us to get it out first before the wipe happens, so we could get enough testing in. So, we have a pretty solid build that goes out for the next wipe. And then the last thing is that we've been doing internal, class development. So I know it's disappointing we can't get the Druid this time, but this time with the Warlock, this is basically our R&D to make sure that we get we're on the right path for the Druid. And so with the Warlock, we're going to have a pretty kind of novel new approach kind of skill. So, and which is kind of that metamorphosis. So.
Okay. Let's stick with the Ice Caverns for now, and then we'll get to the Warlock in a minute. So, because this is the first implementation of this map, I'm going to guess that where we are with the Ice Cavern map isn't going to be the final version. Relative. So it's incomplete, and there's going to be things getting added to it. Do you guys want to kind of elaborate on that a little bit?
Yeah. So the first thing is we're not. So I think the most disappointing part originally is going to be there's going to be no boss that comes out with this map. So you could kind of look at it as like when we first introduced the ruins. So this is kind of similar to that. Is that it's our first pass at it. We know that there's a lot of things missing, but at the same time, we worked hard on trying to get at least the ambience and then getting enough things to make it feel different enough. But unfortunately, we have these kind of resource crunch internally, and so we weren't able to get the boss right. So, but at the same time, so we also know that this, the other reason there's no boss right now is because this is the middle section of that 3-tier. So we actually have in plan the infernal version of the ice world.
Okay.
So originally we actually threw it to our team. It's like, hey, for this patch, can you make us the ice cavern? And we call it the
Ice Abyss?
Yeah, the Icy Abyss. The Ice Abyss is the infernal version. We tasked our team to create both of them, and they're like, dude, are you guys out of your mind? So and we probably overstepped our bounds that time. So that's why, and we've been talking about, we have one monster designer. Luckily now we have two.
So you doubled the size of your monster design team. It's no longer the one guy, it's the two guys.
Yeah. Two guys.
Yeah. Let's go. Double the productivity. Let's go.
Exactly. But even with double capacity right now, we weren't able to get the monster done. I think we could also go into talks about development, internally and stuff a little bit later. But yeah, so that's one of the disappointing things. So the things that we're talking about is, we still want to make it worthwhile for people to go into the ice caverns because, first of all, it's going to be novel. There's going to be a whole bunch of new gimmicks and stuff that have to do with like this cold frost environment. We have, ice traps, ice walls. One of the big things that we're going to be testing experimentally this time is not having the dark swarm. So we're trying to
no circle.
No circle this time.
No circle, chat. No circle.
Test.
It's a test, yeah. So in the back of our minds, because we've been doing internal tests and it's not polished yet, right? So there's a lot of presentation stuff. It's not. So we're working with the mechanism. So in the back of our mind, we do have the dark swarm ready to go, just in case as a emergency backup, right? But so this is the thing. Is
I could envision SDF just sitting over the button like I'm waiting, like I'm hitting it.
So I've been joking with him. It's like, okay, we're gonna do this patch this week, and I was like, oh, we're gonna have to do an emergency patch next week for sure. He's like, what are you talking next week? Probably this weekend, right? It's like, So I mean, we kind of foresee is that okay, this is going to come out. It's going to be the first draft, and then we're going to get immediate feedback. We're going to try to digest that as quickly as possible, and we'll probably be seeing a flood of hot fixes within like the next 2 weeks. But it is important for us to try getting at least the minimum level of polish up as quickly as possible. This has to do with like the new gimmicks that are going in, like the mechanics. So the other thing we're going to be experimenting this time is new escape mechanics.
Okay.
Okay. Never mind. He just X'd that
we're
out. So
we're not. Okay. All right.
Okay. So, yeah. So, I think he wants to leave it as a surprise. That's what he said.
Okay. All right. So it's still the same extraction mechanics, chat. Wink, wink, wink.
Wink, wink, wink. Yeah.
All right. Okay. All right. So then I think the natural question here would be solo, duo, or trio, or all three. Is it going to be on the rotation, or is it going to be something that you can choose separate? And is there going to be an HR and a normal version, or is there only going to be like a normal version for now, or how is that going to work?
So this is how things are changing.
Okay.
Yeah. So original plan is we're going to put into the rotation.
Okay.
That's 30 minutes ago at lunch. We're like, hey, exactly what you're talking about. Should we just remove? Because it is so experimental, and we don't want it. So again.
Well, yeah, because now if you have it on the rotation, one map would kind of be out, or like it would be. I guess it would kind of be weird now having like a fourth option.
Well, so our bigger concern right now is that it's not up to the level of quality, I think, or the polish quality of the other maps. Mm-hmm. And so we're worried that, so this is truly like, when the ruins first came in and had that big, gigantic experimental, like, I think, we've been hit with that kind of experimental edge in the past.
And I think most people understand that, if it's an experiment.
But at this point is that, with the Forbidden Castle and the Goblin Caves it's for us it's kind of past that experimental line, the minimum line threshold we're looking at, and I think right now internally we're like, oh, Ice Cave has a little bit more to go, and so this was the question we're talking about. We're like, okay, do we want to throw it into the rotation pool where it's not completely ready yet? So I think it needs a little bit more time to cook to cook. So just recently we're talking about, okay, maybe we'll just pull it out. We'll still make it, attractive enough with like the rewards. We're working on adding quests, specific for the Ice Cave and stuff. It's not going to go in this time, but it'll come in very soon. But because it's not fully ready, we're leaning right now to making it a separate matching pool itself. And then solo, duo. So because we just started going down that path of thought, is that, okay, do we have to actually, because it is so experimental, do we really need to have a solo, duo, trio, separate one for each of it this time? Or can we just start really like doing a lot of experimental stuff with it and then just kind of have it be on its own, and then we'll just, try different modes each hotfix, or so these are the things we're considering right now. We don't have a concrete answer yet for how we're going to actually allow users to access the ice caves or ice caverns yet.
Okay. Still work in progress then. Okay. Anything else that you want to share about the ice cave? I guess I could show screen caps that you guys wanted to show people.
Yeah. So I sent you a couple of screenshots.
Yeah.
A little earlier today. So.
Mm-hmm. So I'm running through them right now on the stream. I know that you guys, it's like an issue to be able to see it on Twitch. So here's screenshot one, and then one of the things that I noticed aesthetically was that you made the timer kind of like this gradient between like white and blue instead of it being red like it was before. So that was kind of a cool little change.
Yes. So I think so that actually ties in with the new non-dark swarm mechanic.
Mm-hmm.
So we call it like the blizzard, the frost, the blizzard.
Okay, so it is still going to be time limited.
It is.
in one way or another. Okay.
Yeah, but there's going to be ways to kind of.
And then the third screen cap has a new mob in it.
Yes. Yeah. And
there
then
you go, chat.
Let's see.
It's the giant.
Yeah. So there's frost giants. So for the new mechanic, there are we're also trying to work on ways to kind of offset it too. So the frost we call it like the blizzard mechanic, the frost mechanic. So before you freeze to death. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So it's a timer on. Yeah. Yeah. It's good. It's good. I like it. All right. Yeah. So we'll just cycle them one more time. So there was the first screen cap. Confirmed the devs play Rangers now.
Yeah. So things have changed, from like 2 months ago, but we do have some Rangers here, Oh
yeah, that's right. Well, your dev team expanded, so you got a couple of Yeah, is that one of the interview questions? Like, what class do you main? So you're like, yeah, to get some Rangers in there.
No, well,
that was me.
Yeah, so that's actually SPF is the one that's been playing Ranger.
Oh yeah, SDF's trying to get. How's the progress on getting demigod in every class? Is that going well?
So not so well because
not so well. You hit wizard and realized it was impossible. What happened?
He actually likes playing wizard. Yeah, there's no time. So but the thing is, so like he personally he makes time on the weekends and doesn't sleep. So like in the middle of the night, like I see we have a company Discord where we try to get games together with internally and stuff. And sometimes I'll just be like, oh, curious. I'll look in at like 2 a.m. and then I'll see him in like our CTO. And I can see them arguing and stuff. It's like whose fault it is for the squad wiping and stuff like that. So
it's Grayson's fault, isn't it? It's Grayson.
It's Grayson's fault.
It's Grayson's fault.
But yeah, so basically our time to actually play the game is limited to weekends these days. So it's a little bit tougher for us to kind of make that kind of
스페셜리티 이번 주말에는 더 힘들었잖아요.
Oh yeah, and then this weekend was just because of like external stuff, like the PR stuff with the legal stuff. So it was just like no time to play. Yeah, but the progress is a little bit stalled there, but he's still working on it. Yeah.
Good. Okay, so I guess we'll shift gears from here to the marketplace then.
Okay.
So you said you were looking to implement the first version of the marketplace in this next patch as well. And we already know that you said it's going to work like a flea market style system where people have listings for gold, like buy it now prices.
Exactly.
So is it going to be just for gold, or are there going to be barter options?
So again, so our plan here was it took a little bit longer than expected to make this base system, but we have the base functionality ready. So this is the answer to your question is this first iteration is gold only, right? But that's not the final version. So in our head is that we have vision of expanding it to do like have more functionality. But this very first iteration is going to be very limited. And we did that on purpose because we wanted to just get this out to the community as fast as possible. Because, it's more about, okay, we want to get this ready in time for when the wipe happens. And we want this to have much more functionality and be ready for the next wipe, right? So this is kind of like the experimental phase. We're going to be looking for your feedback. We do realize a lot of the quality of life stuff is not going to be in this first iteration. So it's going to be, we know the pain points, even internally. It's like, okay, yeah. So like, it's going to only be for gold. As you know, in our game, gold is a physical item, right? So it takes up physical space and stuff. So that means that there are going to be limitations. Yeah.
So we know, so there's going to be a limitation to how much gold you can end up having as like a max gold transaction on the market, at least for now.
At least for now, yeah.
So for instance, today, Rush, Frog, Katie, and I got a soul scraper off of one of the bosses earlier this morning. So that item sells for approximately like 10 keys. That was going to be way outside of the max gold value on the market. So we would still have to use the text-based market in that case.
Yes. So that was our strategy right now, is that the original trading post is going to still have its own kind of niche as, selling more of those kind of commodities, and then for the super high value, just because this first implementation of the marketplace has that kind of soft cap with the gold. Like, most people aren't running around with gold chests or bags or whatever, right? So it's going to be pouches, and it's going to be a limited amount of slots. So that kind of sets like what the max gold price for most items. So it is way under 10 keys, right?
Right.
Yeah. So I think our expectation is, with this first implementation, is that there's going to be certain trades. It's going to just make more sense to do on the trading post, and then a lot of the more frequent stuff, you could just throw it up onto the flea market and then have it automated, right? So there's two different kind of, it fits two different kind of audiences for right now, or functions right now. But the thing is, we do foresee a future where we're going to start offloading, where we see, based on your feedback, offloading and make things more convenient. So you don't have to be spending all, exorbitant amounts of time just going through that wall of text, right?
Right. And will the items that you list on the market be removed from your inventory while it's listed, or is it time limited? How does that? Is there a fixed number of slots that you'll be able to use?
Yes. So the first, okay. And I think I might have given the wrong expectation, because I talked about like gold chests and gold bags right now. So the very first implementation is actually, we're going to be very, very restrictive, just to, so we're not even going to allow gold bags and gold chests. I mean, we could turn that on, but we want to go step by step, right? And then in terms of like, it will be its own inventory slot. I think.
Okay.
Wait, I might have sent you a screenshot.
Yeah.
I think I sent two.
So there's one that's like the market listings, which I'm showing to chat right now, that shows like different gold values. And then there's another one that shows like the trader guy or whatever that has like a certain number of listable like slots where you're putting in like what you want is for the transaction.
Yes. So if you look at the slots, right, that's going to be the limit to how many items you could have listed.
Okay.
You have to pay a listing fee, and that's just non-refundable. Yeah, and everything's done in gold.
That's standard.
That's why we started off with gold, because of these other subsystems, to make everything work easier, right? The thing is that we've been working on the side to get other support for other items in the future, maybe like keys, ingots, or whatever. But we have to build out other systems to figure out, what's the equivalent gold cost for making sure we could subtract the listing fees and stuff. So there's other complexity. So right now we're going to start simple, as simple as possible. That's why I'm saying there's going to be limitations. Like, that's why the first version that goes out, we're not going to have the gold bags or gold chests, right? But then, it looks like it's solid. We're seeing that there's not too many bugs. Then it's easy for us to start flipping these switches and say, okay, we're going to expand it one by one. So we want to limit the complexity. So as you see here, is that you have those inventory slots for the items that you could list. And then basically, when you put the item into the listing, it'll be removed from your stash and put into that listing slot, right? And then we subtract that listing fee. And it's going to be up there for a limited amount of time. If it doesn't sell in time, then it's going to be stuck in that slot until you retrieve it. If you sell it, you have a limited amount of time to retrieve your gold, because we don't want people to be using these slots as like just extra inventory. Yeah. So, there's going to be clear warning saying, hey, you're running out of time, make space in your stash, and then, move over your gold, or you're going to lose your gold, stuff like that. So these are things that we want to first test out. once we have that basic functionality, we feel is solid, then we'll start kind of expanding on that.
I did notice that in one of the 2 marketplace screen caps, you have an item called Elkwood gloves listed there.
Oh,
which aren't in the game yet. So
so we have Druid. I guess again, this is on our QA server, so we have stuff that we have in testing
and boots,
and boots. So we are doing work in preparation for the Druid stuff.
Druid confirmed, chat. There you go.
Druid is confirmed. It's behind schedule, but we've been making good progress with the R&D stuff. So, and I think we could give some little teasers about that later on too.
Yeah. Okay. So moving on to Warlock then. We mentioned already earlier on the demon form, which is the first time that you guys have implemented like a shape-shifting mechanic in the game of any kind, right? Could you give us an idea of how demon form is going to work? Like what we could expect, or do you want it to be a surprise? How do you want to, however you want to do it?
Yeah, demon form. He's in a very deep contemplative.
이건 좀 남겨두고 싶어요. 서프라이즈.
So he doesn't want to keep it a surprise. For me, because I want to also give a explanation about some of the considerations we have for creating classes and the work that we have to go through in the R&D. So mechanically, I'll just speak mechanically, is basically, you do, it's going to be the first time where you actually, well, not the first, okay.
근데 그 Evil Eye랑은 다른가요?
Yeah, so the way it's done fundamentally is different from the Evil Eye. This one,
right.
you actually, your character actually changes into a brand new character. So it took a lot of R&D work on this.
이번에 쉐이프 시프트 만들 때 중요했던 거는 우리가 드루이드를 준비할 수 있는 이제 그 시스템 다 만드는 것도 필요했고, 우리가 미래에 테스트하고 싶은 이제 몬스터 가지고 플레이하는 거 이런 것들을 하기 위해서 좀 제대로 만들 필요가 있었어요. 그러다 보니까 이 디모폼 만드는데 좀 시간이 걸렸죠.
Yeah. So what SCF is talking about, so this is basically, it was a actual hardcore fundamental system that we had to rebuild. We had to just build up from the ground up, this shape shifting. And the reason we invest a lot of time and research into doing this properly is not just because for the Warlock itself, was because once we get this down, we knew that, okay, we have a lot of confidence going into doing the Druid class, which is a majority of its spells and stuff are going to be shape-shifting. And then the last part is one of our big things that we want to push for later down the line. I think we did talk about this in previous talks, was we want to leverage this system for later on, where people could end up playing monsters, right, in the game, kind of like as the Tarkov scav system, kind of. It's like right, and so a lot of the challenges of controlling human character, the character control, player controller, kind of merging all these things, had to be done getting this ready, right? And so the thing is, now that we feel like, we've gotten past all the major hurdles here, and so now that's why, the fact that we're pretty confident of it's gonna be a little rough around the edges, but at least the main hurdles are we feel like overcome with the fact that we could have that Warlock demon form coming out this quickly. Means that, hey, we've solved some very fundamental issues that we weren't actually sure if we could do or not, like even a month ago. So we made a lot of progress on that side.
Yeah, I think you mentioned something about him, one of your animators getting it figured out like just this past weekend. or something?
No, so one of our
Or programmers.
Oh, so there's a bunch of stuff that, until we actually got our hands dirty, we didn't realize that, oh, these are issues, like all the stuff that your human character can do is, okay, how do these things kind of translate to the different shape shifts? If you're crouching, you're jumping, all these things have to have the right kind of translations. And these are the things that we had to figure out fundamentally in the system first. And now we have a good base system for that. Yeah.
And like you had mentioned prior to when we started that the daemon form, again, is like the early implementation of it, and it's got some bugs. If you want to maybe mention that, because you said something about like the animation.
Oh, yeah. I mean, so again, it's work in progress. So it's not, I think we passed the big major hurdles. There's still like minor stuff. Even like yesterday, we were playing around. And then you revert back from the demon into human, and then you're running around like the animation T-pose. So we have, warlocks just running, like sliding around as T-pose. So stuff like that. But again, those are just bugs, right? So bugs we can fix. The thing that's difficult for us are things that are not bugs, or actual design hurdle, challenges. And those things now we feel like, okay, we're in a good space now, so now it's time to actually build upon the system. So Demon Form is going to be the first, round one, and now, Druid is going to be where you're going to see like, oh, we're going to fully leverage and utilize the system.
Okay, all right. So that I think that covers everything with the Warlock. Unfortunately, Chad, I don't have an image of it, and they said they want to keep it mostly a surprise, so we're just going to have to wait until, when we have it in our hands. Okay.
Yeah.
So that kind of covers, I think, everything that you had on the list for this patch. So then we can kind of shift to future-facing stuff. So regarding the Druid, we had... Go ahead.
So
there's something else.
One more thing for this patch that we're going to... I think people have been asking for it, and we wanted to do it last hotfix, but we weren't able to in time. It's going to be... We're going to also... reveal all the remaining rewards for the adventure points.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, the cosmetic rewards.
I was going to ask that at the very end.
Okay, sorry about
nice.
that.
No, it's perfect. That's good, because people have been asking, like, what's the demigod reward going to be? So now we'll know.
Yeah, so we're going to be revealing the Voyager, Exemplar, demigod stuff. I guess, the easy... So without revealing too much, but they're all going to be cosmetic stuff. So, and we've been working on that.
So Jay will get his elf poster for his bedroom as his demigod reward then?
Okay, well, so STO was saying at least the demigod stuff, demigod reward, he's comfortable. It's gonna be a skin for your cloak. So.
Oh, it's gonna be a skin for your cloak? That's sick. Okay, all right, there you go. Nice. Yeah, a lot of flexing gonna be going on for that one for sure. Okay, so moving on to then the Druid class. Could you give us an idea of like maybe the mechanics? We obviously, you said it's going to be mostly shape shifting. There's going to be multiple forms, I guess, if you maybe want to give an idea of like what those forms are, because we know that we covered bear already. If there's anything else that you want to share with like what you're kind of toying with.
Okay, 이걸 잠깐 보고.
Yeah, so he's pulling up the SCF right now. Is pulling up his the
design document.
Yeah, design document.
Okay.
So where?
Okay, you can share that.
그래서 어디까지 하고 싶어요?
그냥 동물 종류는 얘기해도 될 것 같아요.
Okay, so he says 이거 할게요. So in secret, one of the things that after we got the demon form working is one of the things that as an experiment we did over last weekend was we worked on one of the forms. It's a chicken form, so Druid could turn into a chicken.
Let's go, dude. Are they gonna have? Well, hold on. So there's going to be a chicken form for the Druid. This is amazing. Is it? Are they? I'm going to assume. Okay, so like for the bear, right? It's going to be like tankier. So is the chicken going to have like a useful purpose, or are they going to be like a football that somebody's just going to like pick them up and throw them at somebody? Like, What's
Okay,
the idea?
I'll read you the description that SCF wrote. Bear with us. It's kind of a machine translated, but it says
Okay.
description: chicken transforms into a chicken. Chicken can spread their wings and fly for a little bit.
Okay.
Left gains an armor penetration bonus of 10% and pecks the target with his beak, inflicting physical damage, X amount. Right click, plucking, fell, insect ingestion. Okay, that's our chicken form. So, and there's multiple. Let's see, like he has around one. So,
this is awesome. This is awesome.
Okay.
I love this.
Okay. And
I need to get a chicken pet kill now, dude. It has to happen. This is so good. I love this.
바뀔 수도 있으니까.
Okay. So please understand that this is all preliminary and things could change. As you know, we change things all the time. But this is basically our process. We start with this, we put in the game, we see if it works or not, and then we make modifications. So there's a very high chance that it's not going to come out exactly like this, but this is what we have on our starting, design document. So yep. I'll read one more. Is bear. Okay, bear transforms into a wild bear. It has high health and defense, but is slow and too large to pass through single doors. And left click. Claws a target with your right hand, inflicting X amount of physical damage and pushing the target away. Right click, use wild. That's a skill. And then the other skill was something called fury, wild fury. Yeah. So.
Okay. Oh, you know what? Now that you're mentioning it about skills, is demon form going to be a skill or a spell for Warlock?
It's a skill.
Okay, so it takes up a skill slot then.
You'll have 2 skill more.
And so it's a skill, and when you metamorphose shapeshift into the demon, then his skill set actually changes. Yeah, okay. So you have access to 2 different skills at that point.
So and that's how the shapeshifting mechanic is going to work. Is each shape will have its own skill sets then?
Yes.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Okay. I love the chicken form. I can't wait for the YouTube highlight, like solo chicken versus 3-man wipe or something. It's going to be amazing. This is so good. I love it.
Okay, so he says that he'll reveal a couple more of the animals. So there was, I think we hinted prior, was the rat. The wild rat form, and there's a panther form, cat, and then there's a penguin.
Penguin?
He just passed by, scroll past. There's a picture of a penguin.
That's awesome.
And a turtle.
And a turtle.
The other ones for There's a couple more, but yeah.
Okay. I love this. I actually like that you guys are going beyond like the most common like tropes, because usually in D&D it's like, bear and then like wolf or cat, and then there's like a spider form because of like nature and poison damage and that kind of stuff, and then there's like a rat. It's usually like how you get through like little small spaces and like sneak into different areas or whatever.
Well, as you mentioned those, that was like,
Yeah. So like, well, spider form with like classic D&D stuff has always been a thing because of like nature damage, and spiders naturally have a lot of poison stuff. So it's kind of like they kind of go hand in hand, which has been, just like a historical trope has always been like a spider form where you're like a poison spit.
He's writing that down as a note right now. So.
Oh God. I'm a dev. Future. Let's go, chat. No. I just ruined everything. I'm going to get blamed. It's over.
But again, all of this is preliminary. It's not going to all come out at once. As you know, we do things step by step. You guys probably know our process now. Like with the Warlock 2, it came out very experimental, and then we'll keep on adding things one by one. And the Druid, you can expect the same for that.
Okay. I like it. All right. Let's see. I don't know if there's anything else that you guys want to discuss. That's the end of the questions that I had, at least regarding the patch. I mean, I can see if chat's got anything interesting that they want to ask about. I know that there was one question, and this is kind of sort of mechanic related, that Katie had been asking about. A lot of people have been asking about the idea of being able to inspect other players in the lobby when they see somebody that looks like they have gear, being able to inspect them. A lot of times they will, if somebody's got, a gold cape on or something like that, they become a very focal point of interest. And then they become like the hunted people on the map. So there's a question of being able to inspect other players becomes very trollsy and very griefy because of that ability. And I don't know how you guys feel about that, but I kind of wanted to get an idea of what your feedback was on it.
Okay. Pretty obvious.
And it's not so much like a streamer related question. It could be anybody that has a lot of gear. It tends to be the general sentiment that if they come in with like a stack 3-man tends to be like the hunted party on the map, where people are like, oh, go after the gold guys, and that becomes kind of like the thing.
Yeah. So
그러니까 지금은 플레이어 베이스가 적으니까 이 로비에 모이기가 쉽잖아요. 그래서 어쩌면 지금 우리가 그 베이스를 없애는 게 나을 수도 있어요.
네, 근데 여기는 이미 다 들어와 있어요. 그리고 그냥 이제 한 파티가 강해 인스펙터 하니까요. 엄청 강했다. 그럼 이제 헌트 되는 거. 그거는 어떻게 생각했는지.
그건 재밌는 건데 원래 의도한 거예요. 의도한 건데 그게 너무 심해지는 거는 우리가 원하는 게 아니에요.
Yeah. Okay. So the inspecting kind of, I guess, meta right now, whatever, is that that was something that we anticipated, and that was kind of built in. That's the whole reason to have that tavern in the beginning. Was when STF was saying like, oh, it's kind of in his mind that this kind of the fantasy is that you have this world where all these adventurers have gathered at this tavern, right? And then they're getting ready for the adventure next day into the dungeons. And that night before is you have all these people in the tavern drinking and stuff, and they're kind of trying to scope each other out. That was the kind of fantasy. That's why he put in that inspect. Is that right? So I think right now the issue is that because of the lower population right now, and then people can easily stream snipe. So these are issues on its own that we're trying to tackle. Internally, we have some stuff that we're experimenting with. The problem is because of the low population, like it just exacerbates this kind of issue. So I think, so if it goes back to, the inspect system itself that's something that we did intend, but I think there's other kind of problems that are cropping up because of people kind of stream sniping and stuff. But it doesn't fully answer your question in terms of, are we going to change it, or do we view it as a problem? So I think we have to think about this more internally before we could give you a proper answer for that.
Yeah, I do agree with the sentiment though that it's population related, because if you have the more people that you have playing, the harder it is for people to be able to like purposefully stack up on lobbies and pull those kinds of things. So I agree with that for sure. There was another question that people have been asking about the end of season rewards. So a lot of people, especially now that we're on this rotation, a lot of people have high ranks in like solo and duo or all three. So will the rewards be based on the highest rank achieved between those three, or will there be rewards granted? Obviously, you can't gift the skin twice, but will there be rewards granted for each separate, group? Or will that just be based on like the highest rank that you achieved in all three of them, and you're only going to get them once?
Oh, so if you look at the rewards, right? Some of them are character based, like the gold and stuff. Right. So that's just going to be given to the character. And some of them, like cosmetics and stuff, as you know, our system is that you buy it for the account, right? So it's going to be based on your highest level adventure rank, because it's going to give you whatever, and it's going to link it to your account. So,
So my question is like, so I have a cleric that has that is purple in solo and duo and blue in trio. So do I get double rewards for the two purples, or do I just only get like one based on however high I got on that character?
It's going to just be based on the highest rank on that character. Yeah.
Okay. And then is it the highest I achieved throughout the entire season, or is it whatever rank I end on when the season ends?
It's gonna be whatever rank you end on at the.
Okay.
So
Okay.
랭크는 그때
네.
끝나겠지만
네.
언제나 그랬듯이 프리시즌이 좀 있을 거예요.
아니 그러니까 지금은 이제 보상 주는 거 봐요.
그 다음 시즌 시작할 때.
아니 이렇게 가는데 여기 떨어졌어요. 이건 안 죽고 여기 있는 보상 주는. 이제
한번 도달했으면 그걸 주는 건지 그렇지는 않죠.
Yeah. So yeah.
DK가 없잖아요.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah. So the reason, what he's saying is the reason we're is based on your ending rank. What your rank is at the end of the season is because we haven't put in any kind of active decay system for your adventure points. So that's why.
Okay. Yeah, that works. It was just a question that has been brought up repeatedly, and I just wanted to make sure that it got asked. Let's see. Are you guys still feeling pretty good about the high roller versus normal lobby kind of breakdown in population? Is it still working well, you think?
그 이렇게 나눈 거 어떻게 생각하는지.
언커먼 기어가 포지션이 조금 약한 거 말고는 다 괜찮아요.
Yeah. So besides the point of that uncommon gear is
green gear.
Yeah, the green gear. Where it fits in is a little kind of iffy. Besides that point, we're still very satisfied with how it kind of gives you two ways to play the game. Yeah.
Okay. I'm just looking at chat a little bit, see if they got anything else they want asked and answered.
Well, so I saw they were asking about performance. Again, this is something that
top priority.
Yeah, it's the top priority. So the thing is, we don't have the easy fixes right now. That's why,
우리가 게임을 너무 빨리 만들었기 때문에
yeah.
구조가 진짜 좋지 않아요. 그래서 개선하는데 상당한 시간이 걸려요. 생각보다.
Yeah. So because we built the game so quickly, we're just adding things. And that's why you do kind of feel this kind of slowdown in momentum right now with new features, because we're diverting a lot of that resources instead of just kind of building on top of the Jenga blocks right now. Is that start looking into what is actually causing all this decrease in performance. And there's so much stuff to dig through right now. This is why it's taking a lot longer to analyze this. And then the really easy low-hanging fruit stuff, we've been doing that, but it's not making so this actually goes to show how deep fundamental of an issue this is right now. So this is still our highest priority. I'm really, it really disappoints me to say that I can't give the players right now a concrete answer on, okay, we have this, we know exactly when this performance boost is going to go in and stuff, but this is just we have several very high level engineers, very important people that are working on very core, game systems right now that have just been diverted away just to focus on the performance issues right now. Mm-hmm. So it's gonna, we're putting in the investment right now, but we don't know. I can't say for certain when that's gonna all pay off. But we do have that confidence that it will pay off because we have very, very good experts that are looking into it. So
okay. There was a question about a bug, I guess. So there is an apparent bug with the proxy VoIP system, where if you're running around in solos, the icon on your portrait that shows that you're speaking in VoIP doesn't actually show until you're within proximity range of another player. So you can hold the push to talk button down and speak into your microphone, but it won't actually show the icon transmitting your voice until you're within someone's proximity that could possibly hear you, which kind of gives you a passive way to be able to scout for other players. And I'm not sure if that's something that you were even aware of, but that's what I'm being told in chat.
Okay, so we'll look into that. This is our first time hearing about this. So
Sorry, chat. You can't fuck with that anymore. Get wrecked.
So right after this meeting, we'll have a talk with our QA manager to say, hey, is this on the list? Are you guys aware of this? Let's get this fixed. Yeah.
Oh, chat's all mad because they can't cheese a mechanic anymore. Sorry, boys. You're gonna have to find another thing to exploit. Get over it.
Yeah.
Okay. And then I think there was one other thing that we wanted to talk about. With the I know people are having issues that are launching through the Chaff Games platform right now.
Yeah.
So so we've been in deep talks with the good folks at Chaff Games. Yeah, they've been very, very supportive and helpful. So one of the things that we're working on right now is figuring out a way to have those people be able to migrate to Blacksmith. So I mean, we're gonna, I think that's gonna be the easiest solution for us, is that if we have to only manage one platform, trying to figure out, trying to find all these crashes and freezes and bugs on multiple platforms right now with our limited team. So our goal is to expand the team, but because we know that people are having these kind of issues so frequently right now on Chaff, is that we're working on a plan to have them migrate onto Blacksmith. So we hope to get that plan out very soon.
Okay. And then there's another question about, I guess, Cleric Cleanse is not currently working, which I'm guessing you know about already, because that one seemed like it was a pretty popular one.
That was by design, but
so
we should change to.
Okay. So the way the Cleanse works now is on purpose.
Of course.
Yeah. So again, it was by design. It's to cleanse curses, and so I think
지금 클린즈가 커즈들을 다 해제 못하게 바꿨었어요. 그리고 우리가 정확하게 마법만 해제할 수 있게. 근데 그게 지금 아마 우리가 마법으로 설정한 대상이 좀 적었을 거예요. 아마 제 생각에, 제 기억에. 그 시스템이 아직 완벽하지 않아요. 그래서 그걸 좀 정리하고 해주게 될 것 같아요. 아니면 밸런스 쪽으로 뭐 저주까지 같이 해제를 하더라도 지금은 클린즈가 모든 걸 한 번에 다 해제하기 때문에 그건 조금 너무 세요. 그래서 그 부분은 조금 조정이 들어갈 수 있지만 어쨌든 조정은 좀 있을 것 같다. 지금 너무 불편하니까.
Yeah, so it was by design because it was first made to. So it was kind of. So first part was it was kind of too powerful, whereas it could get rid of all the debuffs. So it was kind of changed in a way that it's okay. It's like a counter to curses. Right now, it's he's feeling that it's a little too cumbersome. So there are plans in his mind right now to redo the cleanse mechanic. Right.
Okay. All right, there you go, chat. They're working on it. All right, maybe like one or two more, and then we're probably gonna call it a Q&A session. Let's see. People are asking about any additional races. I don't know if that's anything that you've been looking at, like dwarves.
Not this time. Yeah, but I mean, you know us. We want to start adding more races. It's just we didn't have time this time.
Okay.
So.
Anything that you want to share about the idea, like with the arena related system, like a fighting arena or something like that? I think you had briefly mentioned it in like a prior cast where you were kind of toying with the idea. I don't know if that's anything that you've given any thought to.
So we're working on the arena, but
0.1 버전 GDC 그러니까
yeah. So we have the internal version. We have the first iteration designed out. We haven't actually started playing internally with the team yet. Actually battling it out. That's actually that's the first priority thing for us. Once we get this patch, patch number 3 kind of stabilized, is that okay? So we've been talking to design teams like, okay, get ready for arena. We're gonna start doing the data, arrangements and organization for that next week. So it's in the works. But again, this is gonna be first iteration. But internally, we've had good feedback on just the structure of it. So I think, our goal is we want to get that out with we mentioned this previously, is with the test version, the test server, the test environment.
Private.
Yeah. So I think that's going to be a way that we could kind of make the test environment attractive. So a way for us to test the test environment is say, hey, if you want to try out the test arena, go to the test environment, and so those two features are kind of linked together right now in our mind.
Okay. And then I think there were two last questions. We're trying to stay away from like mechanic related stuff. So the first is barbarians seem like they are currently easy mode, especially on solos, because they have speed, damage absorption with their high HP pool and relatively decent armor, and then a lot of damage, especially when they're using two-handers. And then the last question would be training system, because I know that's been, the talent tree has been something that you guys have been kind of wanting to put in the game for a while. I'm assuming that that's going to be kind of difficult given like how there's constantly balance changes happening. So if you want to kind of comment on both of those.
바베리언하고 트레이닝.
바바리안은 조정될 거야. 근데 지금 우리가 밸런스에 포커싱 안 하고 뉴 피처에 포커싱하고 있었기 때문에 조금 이제 오래.
Okay. Yeah, so he has plans to address the barbarian, but right now for this patch number 3, we're focusing on just getting this big content out first, and then we're going to do a balance patch after that. So it's in the works that he already has some ideas.
근데 그게 무조건 바바리안이 뭐 너프될 거다 이런 얘기가 아니야.
But he's not saying, oh, this is for sure the barbarian is going to be nerfed. Is that he's going to do like he has in mind a kind of an overall, balance pass that general balance pass that has barbarian as part of it for the next update, right? Or
내가 지금
subsequent update.
근데 프란체스카 X 이런 거 인벤토리에 그냥 꽉 채워서 가잖아요. 이제 이런 것들 우리는 아이디어가 있고.
Yeah. So one of the concrete ways that we're discussing, that we have been discussing for a while, is like, the barbarians that have like a full inventory of Francesca axes going in. Is like we have a system that we've been working on. So it's dependent on another fundamental system that we've been kind of reworking for a while. But once we get that in, then we have plans to address like, the inventory where it's just all unlimited Francesca axes. And so once we get that system working, this also ties into like the quiver for the ranger and stuff. So these are things that are all working in parallel right now. And then the second question was about training. Training is
이제 디자인 시작했죠.
Yeah. So we started internally. What we've been doing is that we've been now making a several generalized lists of all the perks to figure out, okay, how these could, what kind of side effects it could have for like multi-class, So these are we started the very, very preliminary work for this. I think this is actually doing this kind of preliminary work. We realized this is a larger scope than originally intended, but now we're feeling confident this is the path we want to go down. But because it's going to take longer than expected, I think we're going to go in steps again. So I think before we get into training, one of the things we discussed is like, at least right now for level 20, we're just going to open up the level cap and just let people advance, like the Apex Legends kind of style as a first step. And then using that, we're going to, get the data on, the speed at which people progress. And then that we could use those data points to kind of figure out, okay, this is where we want to start having people introduced to multi-classing, and then what kind of, and it'll give us openings and ideas on how to start introducing the multi-class kind of training system. So again, this goes step by step. Those are the two answers.
Okay. I think that's good. There you go, chat. They're working on it. All right. All right. Anything else that's pressing, boys? Anything else? Let's see. Ask about uniting the merchants for whole accounts so I don't have to kill 90 Ghost Kings. No one wants to be locked into one character. It creates a toxic game. Glocktain, get good.
퀘스트에서 여러 캐릭터 하기 힘든
You
거.
casual Glocktain.
Sorry.
you heard it from us. Yeah, he said sorry.
For now.
Yeah, but again, the quest system, this is first pass, and then as you saw that we added the quest chapter, we haven't actually done anything with that yet. We're working on making the next set of actual quests for the chapters. So again, give us this feedback. I know we say sorry right now. I mean, we said there will never ever be a solo mode. There's a solo mode in the game right now. I think we are feeling repercussions from that kind of opening up to that kind of decision. But things like that, we said there would never ever be a marketplace.
Right.
Okay, what's coming in a couple of days. So these are things that we want that kind of feedback. Let us know.
I think if I can give you an idea, like the criticism is for people that want to play multiple characters, to have to do quest progression on every single character seems like it's very, very time consuming, especially given the drop rates of things like pelts and centaur hooves being like 1%. Those drop rates being extremely low takes a very, very long time to be able to collect the things that you need to finish them. So for somebody like myself, I've only played a cleric this entire wipe because I'm trying to finish my quests. And a lot of guys, it's taking days, sometimes over a week, of just constant trying to farm that stuff in order to get it finished. So there's a lot of people that would prefer to be able to make progress on multiple characters to kind of make the game feel fresh to them, with the problem of that being that they don't get the unlocks for the traders across all of those characters because they need the rep. But if you give all of the characters the rep, then they can like craft on all of the different characters if they all have separate inventories. So the compromise that we've been kind of contemplating would be make it a shared trader inventory across all of your characters, make it account-based rather than character-based, if that's even possible. And that kind of eliminates the issue with people being able to like multi-craft across all of their characters. Of course, there are those people that will then be annoyed by this because they want to be able to level up multiple characters and then have the extra craftability, but somebody's going to be unhappy no matter what you do. So
Yes.
Right?
그래서 그거는 이제 우리는 그냥 지금 여러 개를 동시에 다 할 수는 없어요. 그래서 새로운 피처 추가하는 거에 집중하고 있을 때는 지금은 이제 그런 시기고요. 이게 어느 정도 되고 나면 아마 우리가 이제 뒤에 만든 시스템들을 다 폴리싱하는 시간이 있을 거예요. 그때 아마 그런 게 정리가 될 거고. 그래서 지금은 sorry.
Yeah. So
we have no time.
Yeah. So he just wants to clarify about when he says sorry. The reason he says sorry is not that hey, this is never going to be done. Is that he wants to clarify. We're in this phase because we have our this small team, and we can only focus on. We're very bad at multitasking, right? So we only focus on. So right now, our phase, if you look at it, from the big picture, is we're working on adding new content, and then we have another phase once it stabilizes is fixing up the content that we actually added, right? So polishing that up, and so that's when we get to that stage is when we could start addressing these kind of pain points with the previous systems, like as you noted, having quests be so time intensive and not getting those rewards. So I think once we start, so there's two things that we're working on is we have to get to that next phase sooner, and then the second thing is expanding our team, the resources internally, which we have been working on. So we've the other thing that this has been taking time away from us developing the game is because we're focusing on expanding the team. So like SCF and we've been spending a lot of our time the last few weeks. It's just interviewing people, interviewing candidates and stuff. And so we are slowly expanding our team. So I think it's a multi-pronged strategy. Once we have multiple teams, then we could start multitasking a little bit better, and then we could start meeting these needs a little bit quicker. So when he says sorry, it's never going to happen. It's sorry, we don't have the capacity right now, but we're working on it. I know that's not a very satisfactory answer, but that's the reality.
All right. Well, thanks guys for doing this. I don't know if you have any like closing thing that you want to say before you guys check out. But I think that kind of concludes our end of it. There's gonna be forever questions from chat. There's always gonna be something that people want to know, and we'll just have to wait for the next one, I guess. We kind of hit the time limit, boys.
Okay. Yeah, I know it's late for you. So
not even that. It's just like I try to keep these to an hour just because it starts to get a little bit repetitive for people.
I guess my final closing comments this time is that please be understanding. This time it's going to be a little bit rougher than usual, but I think this is it's the starting point, and together, like every time that we've even though we started rough, as long as you guys give us your honest feedback, is we do our best to take that to heart and then improve this. So in a couple days, hopefully tomorrow, we'll see, is that we're going to have the first origin point for the next content steps that we're moving on to, and we're very open. We're excited to hear from you guys to improve this, right? So this is so my message is this is just a starting point this time. So I think that kind of shows my concern right now, but it was more important for us to get this out early, because we felt like, hey, you guys have been, I don't want to make excuses but there were a lot of stuff that's happening in the background that we couldn't deliver as quickly. You guys probably noticed that, we weren't doing the weekly weekly updates this time. We're doing every 2 weeks. And so there was a reason for that. And because of that, things are kind of got delayed. And so we didn't want to delay this even further. So we made an active decision that even though this is not the same quality bar that we usually expect, it was more important for us to get something out to the community, and then let's fix this together. So that's the message that I really want to get out for this patch this time.
There is, I guess, one other question, even though you guys did touch on this once already, and which chat keeps spamming, is about the teaming issue, which has been ongoing for the last, I don't even know, since August, where you have guys that are obviously going out of their way to team up in like solo lobbies, for instance, especially at higher ranks on certain specific servers. You guys have talked about how you are monitoring this very actively and are trying to take as much action as you can. But maybe there's something that you could elaborate on for the sake of chat and their lack of patience or understanding.
Okay. No, well, so again, this kind of ties into that. So there's things we could do mechanically in the background. So we do have a good amount of data. We could track this. The thing is that it will make outsized impact on matchmaking times and stuff. So again, these are things that we could start experimenting, but I think right now we have so many different matching pools, like with the road. Mm-hmm. So the reason okay, I'll give you a little bit more background so you guys could go into our thought process, is that the best solution when we had multiple maps and multiple locales is this: hey, give players the freedom to choose. Hey, I'm a trio. Hey, this time I just want to go into ruins, or I want to go into crypts, and I could have that selection. But the thing is that we have multiple regions, we have multiple game types, and then multiple, we have to split people up by the different rankings also, right? So we have, at the minimum, it was like 144 different matching pools that we had to service each time, right? Is that with our current population pool, so
on a player base of roughly like 13 to 15K peak concurrent players, on any given day, you have 144 different matching pools.
Yeah.
So we're at insane.
We're at that limit, right? So this is why if we were to implement the anti-teaming measures that we have in place, is that it would substantially increase the number of matching pools here, right? So this is the reason that we haven't pulled the trigger on this side, right? So the thing is, so internally right now is, okay, instead of forcing people to, have, which will just detrimentally affect everyone across the board, is that right now So I mean, we are working on strategies right now to increase the player population, of course. We're not doing that actively just because, hey, we think that, you know, Operation Health that we're talking about is that system-wise, we still have to get, you know, the marketplace in. We have to do a little bit more work there before we're ready to start doing a big kind of push to get more people. But at the same time, on the technical performance side, we haven't got to the point where we're comfortable saying, hey, come present Dark and Darker as saying this is ready, you know, ready for more mainstream people to you know, have that experience yet, right? So we're working on that. But with the limited pool right now, so our thinking is, okay, kind of change player behavior, incentivize them to do a little bit more PvP with in-game mechanics. So this is the way we're thinking right now. So this might have to do with, like, right now the balancing of the amount of portals and stuff, the amount of pressure you get from, like, the Dark Swarm, the amount of people that are in each match, in each session, and the amount of people that survive right now is that, you know, right now we did make it fairly loose so that you have a lot of different options of surviving. So these are things that we could easily start playing around with. So I think we'll see again, a couple of these changes that are going to be, we're going to start, you know, pulling, modifying some of these numbers, these little switches with the next update. So yeah, right now the strategy is, instead of using the system's, you know, protection against teamers, just because we know that it's going to affect everyone across the board for matchmaking, is that we're going to start trying to do kind of, you know, nudge people to be a little bit more aggressive in the sessions with the carrot and the stick in the game mechanics itself.
Okay. All right. So you're going to start maybe restricting how many ways people have to be able to survive so that they have to fight.
Yeah. So that'll be the first low hanging fruit for us. Yeah.
There you go, Chan. You're going to have to figure out who your friends are real quick.
Yep.
All right. Well, I think that kind of concludes the Q&A session, guys. So thank you very, very, very much for taking the time to talk to everybody tonight. Or, well, I guess it's morning for you. It's night for me. But thank you for taking the time to talk to us. It's always a good time to be able to have these sessions and give people an idea of what they can expect. Just to kind of give everybody an idea, to recap, if you weren't here at the beginning, there's a major content patch that's coming. It's going to include a marketplace, first iteration of the marketplace, the first iteration of the Ice Caverns map, and Warlock Demon Form, among some other associated things that are going to be surprises in the patch that we'll be able to play with by the end of January, ideally. So within the next couple of days, we should see a patch that's going to give us a whole bunch of new stuff to explore.
Yep. And so thank you so much for doing this on, like, you know, short notice. I know it was pretty tough for you. Yeah,
it was fun. Yeah. I love doing this stuff. It was no big deal. I just kind of had to tell people I'm not going to bed on time. Like, that was it. All right. Well, thank you guys. Thanks again. And you know, we'll reconvene the next time we have something to talk about.
All right. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, fellas. See ya.
Everyone.
Thank you so much.
All right. Bye.
Bye-bye.